So as for the context of this meetup, you know, the video, there's a lot of video people here, and I am so far from being a videographer that I'm sure there's others in here that can speak far better to it. Some of the things that we did, and we were very, very pointed about trying to do, is one was keep this under 2 minutes. We rolled in at 1:50, and I still look at it and I kind of go, it was too long. You know, when you're talking about Kickstarter, it's right smack in the middle of the online, whatever you need to say needs to be said within 15 seconds. You know, all your impact needs to be right at the beginning, catch their attention. Most of the, I think it was 75,000 views that we had over the course of our campaign. There was only something like 23% of them that were actually viewed all the way through. So those are some of the things that you got to consider when you're doing your campaign. Is up front, just like any other kind of pitch, up front, have your message succinctly stated, what the product's about, what you're trying to do, and then the meat's afterwards. You know, the filling is afterwards, to try and get people to stick around. But if you don't have them in the first 15 seconds, there's a lot of proof to show that you're not going to hold on to them for much longer than that. And so that's one of the core things. The other was just showing our personality. And you can see from the end on the rooftop, and just tongue-in-cheek, my daughter dropping a CLUG into the toilet. And we were just trying to have fun, because at the end of the day, that's really what this was about for us, was trying to figure out how to bring design and make it accessible to people in a product that made sense. So what Kickstarter is and what it's not. I was having a conversation over here this morning. Kickstarter is not raising money for equity. There is equity crowdfunding, but this is purely reward-based crowdfunding. It's similar to Indiegogo, and there's several others out there. There are Kickstarter type platforms that are about raising equity. I know that you're up to speed on some of this stuff, Roger, aren't you? As far are there any equity ones in Canada yet? Nah, I didn't think so. So yeah, not yet. It's over in Europe. So I know that there's some that have started over there, but they're not in Canada yet. So the idea of rewards based is, when we did our campaign, we started off, we set our goal at $32,000. $9 product, $32,000. We went through some number crunching. We tried to figure out what number did we have to hit where basically we broke even. We had, for a product like this, we had to have steel tooling, whether that was manufactured in Canada or over in China or wherever it was going to be. Shipping, consider your shipping if you're doing a physical product. We're still looking at, like, we might take a bit of a bath in the shipping, because especially in the Canadian one, they expect you to include shipping for your home country, where the irony of it is the shipping to Canada was the most expensive for all of it. If we shipped within the States, it's actually cheaper than shipping within our own country, which is just makes my hair fall out in clumps. But so that's some of the stuff. But some of the other things that Kickstarter is, it's completely and utterly now a marketing tool, in my view. It's very quickly heading that direction, especially in physical product. I know that there's a lot of different stuff going on these days when you're talking about social endeavors or videos, but I know the gaming industry is getting into this as well. It's a marketing engine. It's a proof of your market, to whether it's raising more funds, selling the product off, or things like that. So you're competing with companies like Ouya, which is one of the largest money raisers on Kickstarter. It's a company down in San Francisco called Fuse Project, who is behind it. It's a six-figure marketing budget that went into that. So the person or people behind Kickstarter programs are very savvy and very sophisticated now. They're doing. I gave a presentation to a VC company down in Seattle about a year ago, before any of this started, as I was still researching this and trying to figure out what was behind it. And they were telling me about how the Kickstarter campaigns were now getting timed. They were launching out emails and doing announcements on the radios or videos online that would launch at specific times as the sun came up around the world. So it's no longer just somebody sitting in their garage and going, hey, I got a great idea. You are competing against very sophisticated, very savvy designers and marketers. So that's one of the things that it took me a long time to wrap my head around. I'm a designer. I think this way from the beginning, that design-centric, but it's the marketing side of it I had not a clue about. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. But it's a little disheartening for me, but there's several things that I've learned as we've kind of gone along that has made a big difference. Made a huge difference in the success of our campaign. So whether I touch on it now or if you have questions later, I'll definitely, I know that's one that strikes a chord with most people when I'm talking to them about this. So Kickstarter, along that thread, it's another tool in a toolbox now. It's, can you design a product? Can you design a video? Can you design a game? Whatever it is that you're trying to raise some funds for, this is just a tool. It's not a be-all. It's not an end-all. And most importantly, the lesson that we've learned more than anything is that it's quite literally what the name entitles. It's a start. From June 14th, I think was the date of our close, mid to late June. I can't remember the exact date at this point. You'd think I would think I'd have it kind of ingrained. But till now, the amount of work that we've put into it has been 3 times, 4 times that of the couple of months prior to it. This was something we did in our spare time. We were servicing clients, doing their work, things like that. So we did this in our evenings, weekends, and when in the hours that we didn't have billable hours to do. But since then, we've managed to raise this money, and we've dedicated the last 2 months solely to this. We've garnered some pretty good attention from it, which is great. But it's also extremely stressful because we still have, even though we have a market that's quote unquote proven, we still have to go out and start selling these for real. So what's the next step? So this is just a tool to get us started. And I've talked to several people that have been through this process as well, where they thought, oh yeah, I've raised my money and now I'm set. It's just gonna go. You're like, no. It's the start. It truly is the start.